Let's install MongoDB on Windows 11. To get started, let's open the web browser and let's head over to mongodb.com. Here we're going to hover over Products, then choose Community Edition. And here we can see MongoDB Community Server Download, which is exactly what we want. So let's scroll down a bit. So we can see that the version is 6.0.3, which is the latest version at the time of this recording. We can see that the platform is Windows, and we can see that the installer is packaged as an MSI file. So let's click on Download. And the MongoDB installer is being downloaded, and the download file is about 480 megabytes. Okay, so the installer was downloaded. Let's open the Downloads folder. And here is the MongoDB Windows installer. Let's run it. We need to accept the license agreement. And let's go with the complete setup. Here I leave everything with its default settings and just click on Next. And now we get the option to also install MongoDB Compass. Compass is a graphical user interface for MongoDB, and it's really helpful when getting started with MongoDB. Using it, we can easily understand what we have, our databases, collections, and documents. So I highly recommend that you install it as well. And to install it, all you have to do is leave this box checked, Install MongoDB Compass. So I leave it checked and click on Next. And let's go ahead and install MongoDB. Great, so the MongoDB installation is complete, and we can see in the background that the MongoDB Compass was already opened. So let's click on Finish, and we now see the Compass welcome screen. So let's click on Start. And as we said, Compass is nothing but a front end, a graphical user interface to the MongoDB server. So to get started, we need to connect to the server itself, to the MongoDB server. To do that, we use a connection string. Now, as you can see, by default, it uses localhost and then a port number. In our case, both Compass and the server are installed on the same computer, and that's why we can use localhost. If the server was installed on some remote computer, we would have to provide the IP address of the remote computer. But if the server is on the same computer, we can use localhost. So I'm not going to change here anything, and I won't edit the connection string. I'll just click on Connect. And we're now connected to our MongoDB server. Here on the left, we can see the databases that we currently have, but I don't want to use any of them. I want to create a new database, a database of my own. So let's click on the plus icon. And now we can create a new database. So let's say that it's going to be a school database. And we also need to create a collection inside this new database. So as an example, let's create a student collection. And let's create our database. And here it is, our new school database. Here we can see the collections we currently have in this database, and right now we only have the student collection. So let's choose it. And now we can add documents to this collection. To add a new document, we can click on Add Data. And we can either import file or insert a new document. Here we can see our document as JSON, but if we click here, we can see the entries to our document in a simplified view. So let's say that I want to add a name to the student. So I'm going to click here on the plus icon and add field after ID. So let's give this field a key, in this case first name. And then I press on Tab and I can provide a value to this field. And our document now has a new field. Let's also add last name. And if we now want to see how our document looks like as JSON, we can get back here, and here we get the JSON view. Let's click on Insert, and our collection now contains this document. We can add another document by cloning this one, and then we can edit any field we want. By the way, if you want to use the command line interface instead of the graphical user interface, you can always click here where it says Mongo SH. And it opens the Mongo shell, and then you can interact with the database using the command line interface.